Hello everyone, today let's talk about some tariffs that made by the US President Donald Trump. Today's topic is about with markets and tariffs. The only certainty is uncertainty. It is said by Chair of Oaktree Capital Management. The events last week surrounding US President Donald Trump's tariffs announcement were reminiscent of those of 2008 and the global financial crisis they produced. All norms have been overthrown. The way world trade has operated for the past 80 years may be of little relevance to the future. The impact on economies and the world at large is entirely unpredictable. There have been no large-scale world trade wars in the modern era, which means that accepted economic theories are largely untested. We must accept that there's no such thing as foreknowledge here. This means if we insist on achieving certainty or even confidence before acting, we will be frozen into action. Or if we could conclude we have reached decisions with certainty or confidence, we will probably be mistaken. We must make our decisions in absence of those things. Turning to tariffs themselves, many of the goals the administration has set itself seem desirable. After all, shouldn't the US government want to support American industry? If only it was that easy. The problem is that in the real world, and especially in economics, there are second and third order consequences, and they are often significant and unpredictable. The potential consequences of Trump's tariffs include retaliation by other countries, higher prices, and maybe even a recession. But let's imagine for a moment that the tariffs are successful in supporting Trump's stated aim of having more of the goods purchased in the US made in the US. We must ask if there is sufficient manufacturing capacity in the US to meet the demand. If not, how long would it take for the requisite new factories to be built? What will happen in the meantime? Are there enough workers to make these goods? Will it be possible to produce these goods in the US at the same price and quality as the equivalent imports? While the answers to those questions are uncertain, one thing that is virtually guaranteed is that the prices of US-made goods will be higher than those of imports Americans have become accustomed to buying. The result of higher prices is likely to be declining standards of living. Higher prices are also likely to result in lower sales unit, and thus in declining corporate profit margins, often a precursor to layoffs and economic downturns. Crucially, the impact of Trump's move on tariffs extends to international arena and goes well beyond economics. Global trade has had an enormous beneficial impact on the entire world since the end of the Second World War, contributing to a rising economic tide that lifted all boats. Some countries and some people did better than others, of course, but virtually everyone was better off. How is the US Federal Reserve likely to respond if the tariff crisis continues? The threat of recession might call for accelerated rate cuts. But then again, the threat of inflation might cause cuts that had been planned to be postponed. Again, nobody knows how it ends. On the one hand, if the tariffs remain as announced and retaliation leads to an all-out trade war, the consequences could be truly dire. But on the other hand, cooler heads and a highly negative political and stock market reaction could prevail, causing the tariffs to be rolled back to less harmful levels and resulting in a win for free trade. We shall see. Okay, that's all. Thank you.